Hello and welcome to Nation Builders with myself, Dumisang Sehola. This is a very exciting segment. We're joined in studio by a powerhouse of note. His name is Thabiso, Cavin Bogopa. Now, this young fellow is an incredible speaker, transformational coach, you name it. We've been trying to get our hands on him for the longest now. Thabiso, welcome to Nation Builders.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
So, we want to talk about Thabiso Cavin Bogopa. Who are you? Tell Motswana Kola Beng hore o mang and what do you do? And as a transformational leader, and there's a term that you use in describing yourself in some of your portfolios and profiles. You refer to yourself as a social constructivist.
Yes.
That's heavy. What is that?
Okay, let me just start by introducing myself and I'll deal with that in the crust of my introduction. I'm Thabiso Cavin Bogopa. I'm just a guy from Maung. I'm a social constructivist and empowerment expert. By social constructivist, what that basically means is that I'm a social doctor. So I get into organizations, I get into communities, into companies, and I make a diagnosis of what their challenges are, what their problems are, and then I make prescriptions and solutions to what they are basically experiencing. So I look at and then what their challenges are, and then I provide empiricals to see how we can get them out of that. So a large chunk of my work is really dedicated towards problem solving and problem solving and conflict resolution generally, especially the organizations. Sometimes we get on each other's toes. So how do you resolve those conflicts professionally and have an unbiased body? Something that I think is very critical. As an empowerment expert, it's a little bit different from your motivational speaker, but it's the same thing. But the difference is, with being an empowerment expert, you then do the dirty work of looking into the lives of the people and say, okay, this is what is your problem. This is your depression. This is your anxiety. What can we do as empirical to move you out of this into a better space? So it's not like me telling you, you're going to be fine. It's okay, let's get you fine now. So that's basically it.
Interesting. This is heavy. This is out of the away from the norm. This is not everyday, ordinary young people stuff. How did you arrive here? What motivated you? What inspired you to want to venture into this sort of field?
I think at a very young age I found I was disturbed by the scenery within society. I saw a lot of imbalance. I saw a lot of lack of structure. I saw a lot of things that were not attended to. So I felt like society, we are on autopilot. So we don't know what we're doing. We don't know where we are going. We're not interrogating our spaces. So when I interrogated the spaces that I was in, that I was occupying, I realized there was a need for someone to fill in the gap, really, and say, what are our problems in this specific corporation, this specific organization, or in this specific society? Understand? And then when I found that out, and then I committed myself to changing that, and then I realized later, while I'm dealing with the larger global space, there's actually a word for what I'm doing. I'm a social constructivist. And I didn't even know it when I began.
You learn something new every day. That one I'm going to note down and I'm going to, I'll have it here. But now as a young person, you say growing up as a young person, but I still look at you and I see a young person.
Yes, I
am. And diving into these deep waters, I can imagine that you deal with a lot of people who are much older. People who are like way up there in terms of professional corporate ladder. Don't you get a bit of resistance, and how do you deal with things like that, where people look at your age and not your, what you carry? Because I know that this society is still kind of like that in many aspects.
Well, there's a lot of bias. There's a lot of resistance, especially like you have duly noted, the issue of age. Like, how old is he? How does he know this? And is he even sure? Should we even be sure about him? So I think, and I think there's a disadvantage to that, but everyone must find an advantage within that disadvantage. So in me finding my advantage in the disadvantage, that when I'm dealing with a bias, when I'm dealing with a stereotype, it actually provides you a platform to punch harder. So I'm punching above my weight. And when you punch above your weight and you find yourself in a space of people that are seemingly more qualified, whether by position or qualifications, but you are punching harder. They then give you attention, and when they give you attention, you thank God for the resistance in the first place, because the respect now comes with double.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think everyone that is going through that form of resistance, you keep refiring until you acquire what you desire. Keep punching and punch hard.
Punch hard.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So now let's talk about your achievements to date. What are the most significant and most powerful when you look back and say, "Wow, God, that was way beyond me. That must have been you." What are those that you can note and say, "This is what I was able to achieve. These are my milestones that will go down in history as my references."
Well, I remember when I was doing Form 3, and I think even Form 4, I kept telling my classmates that, I'm going to speak for a living. That's what I'm going to do. And it didn't make sense, and I don't even understand what I was saying by then. But by then I was debating for the national team and stuff, so I had a deep passion for speaking.
Yeah.
When things began to unfold, I think I never imagined in my life that I will, because I dropped out of school and then I came back. I never imagined that I would guest lecture at university, but I've guest lectured at UB and shared part of my work, with other students. Like, what do I do? I've spoken on positive masculinity. I've done consultancies for companies like Golden Scepter. I have spoke for the Ministry of Youth Business Expo. I was the youngest guy actually there, the most broke guy actually on stage. But, when Ministry of Youth calls you up and say, like, we need you to come through and speak at our people. When Depswana calls you up and says, we need you to come and do our end of year function. And like, what? That's way above me.
Yeah.
But then you get there and you're like, I'm going to give my biggest undertaker shot. And then you HBK it. Like, Yeah. So I think that was just God.
That was just God.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed at what you've been able to achieve, and an attitude of just going for it.
Yeah.
When that door opens, you go for it. You don't look down upon yourself and start looking and saying, these guys on the table are more, deserving than me. Yeah, so that's very powerful and something to learn a lot from. So let's talk about your life as a pastor. Can we talk about that?
Okay, we can.
Tell us about that.
Okay. I received the call of God over my life when I was 15. I was 15, if not 14.
That was young.
I was doing Form 2. I was in Dugui, in a little village refugee camp. I received my call, but then it was not yet defined. It scared the hell out of me because I didn't understand. Because I remember when I received my call, and I had crazy supernatural experiences. A lot of people don't even talk about that because I remember the first time I couldn't even go to the line or like
Are you serious?
Yeah, but so being young, we didn't understand that. So people thought something was wrong with me. And, I was a bit vocal by then. I played a lot. But my life just changed. My character, my temperament. I began keeping to myself. I began in class. I couldn't listen. I was opening my Bible in my desk, trying to understand this voice. And I thought I was insane. So I became very isolated. So it was very hard. But over the years, it became more defined. The things that I saw back then that I am now living now, and I'm seeing what God has been very faithful. So the journey has never been easy. It's not an easy thing. It's a very thankless job because you're gonna pour yourself out there. Not everyone is gonna receive you. And as a pastor, you're gonna show people mercy. You're gonna love people. You're gonna be tender about people and their issues. And those very same issues, if they were reversed and you had them, the very people you are tender to would crucify you. So it's a love and hate relationship.
It's a love and hate relationship.
But it's a very fulfilling vocation.
Wow. So who would you say is the one person that you'd credit for that grounding and that instilling of faith? Growing up as a child and being that, that full of the Spirit. Are you from a prayerful background? Growing up, where did that come from?
Well, the first evangelist that led me to Christ was my mother. So I grew up, I became conscious and aware within that space where we believe, where we pray, where how scripture.
Wow.
So it was deeply embedded in me. Then my mother passed away, so I kind of strayed for a little bit until the voice of God then found me. But in terms of my ministerial definition, terms of what my assignment is. I'm a product of many anointings and many men of God that I follow. For example, my own senior pastor and spiritual father, Apostle Mabeka Tembo, is very significant. I've passed through a lot of hands. I've passed through Apostle M.D. Baloi in Botswana here, and I follow greatly, extensively, I should emphasize that, Bishop Tudor Bismarck. I know I'm just in love. I'm a product of following men of God. I'm a product of many people's prayers, and honestly, with the achievements that I keep seeing, I'm always cognizant of the fact that this is beyond my prayers. There's somebody out there praying for me, somebody wishing good for me, and I don't know who's with me. But sometimes I just feel like there's a mountain of people that are with me, and I just keep pushing.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I like that you openly speak about the people that impacted your life. That says volumes about the kind of person that you are. Humble and yeah.
I don't know at what point can I define myself as humble, because that's nice. But thank you.
You're very, very humble. I can pick up that from just the way you express yourself. So let's talk about. I want to talk about your life as a young pastor, because I've been watching you and I've been observing you, and you're a breath of fresh air. The way ministry is done, sometimes it pushes away young people because there's a specific template that they're expected to conform with. So tell me about your secret and how you're able to just be yourself and allow people to be themselves. I was looking at a post of yours just recently where you said somebody gave you, like, you were in the bathroom and somebody came in and wanted to start pulling titles on you, and what? You were saying, no, let's not do that. There's a time and place for everything. So where's the confidence coming from? Because I think people sometimes, like, they overdo the titles thing because they
Well, I think with me, I think when God called me, He already knew me, and He was aware of my proclivities and what will become my tendencies, and He liked me very much to still call me anyway. So I don't see the sense and the logic in me attempting to be something or someone that I'm not, when God has already liked, vetted, and sanctioned who I already am. So I don't really understand people who abandon self and take up another's temperament to be. I think if God wanted to call 10,000 TD Jakes, He would have called them. But the fact that He called a Thabiso, Bogopa, I should be able to express that sound. So it comes from confidence in my own individual fabric and identity, and not robbing the world an experience of me, because I think everybody is an experience. And if I get to be defined as an experience of fresh air, well, let's go ahead.
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it. So, I think that's basically, I'm comfortable. I think I'm comfortable in who I am, and I kind of like me. So let me give people what I like and what I believe, and I believe in me. I like me. Let me give them the best.
The best version of yourself, according to the will of God. So now I want you to speak to young people, especially. The issues, there's drug issues, there's depression, there's all of that. And surprisingly, these issues are also prevalent in the church. Because we want to be the same person. We don't have the sort of confidence that you have. And we end up burying ourselves under a heap of things that eventually just suck the person that we are out. So speak to the young people, encourage them. What would you say to the young people of our time, so that they be encouraged to allow themselves to be what God wants them to become?
I think if there's anything worthwhile and anything that is significant that the young person must understand, is to first understand that they are going to spend the rest of their lives with themselves. You carry yourself along everywhere, through every birthday, through your spaces, through the different positionalities that you occupy. You don't even spend the rest of your life with your wife or with your husband, with your spouse. You spend the rest of your life with you, whether you're in the bathroom, whether you are cheating, whether you are praying, you are with you. You have a moral obligation and an imperative to make sure that you are a hospitable person to be around. So if you take that person, that is you, who you spend the rest of your life with, and you bury them under drugs, drink them off to sloppy, and literally abandon them, not give them the attention that they deserve, you are actually killing yourself without realizing that you are actually a gem. You are actually a diamond. There's so much great things in the inside of you. If you gave yourself enough attention, if you believed in yourself and know that you're not a mistake. You're not an accident in mutation or an accident in creation. There was deliberateness in your crafting. And you didn't just come here because your mother and father met. You came here because purpose necessitated your manifestation in that moment in time. So when you are cognizant of all of these things, you begin to search out the real reason why you are here. And when you are occupied with searching out the real reason, you'll find things like drugs, things like promiscuity, things, all these shenanigans no longer appeal, because your time and your attention and your energies are so focused on the beautiful things about you, which are very much there if you only looked to be able to see them. So I need the young person to be able to fall in love with themselves, to search themselves out, to unpack themselves, because you are a build of so many layers. Get to know them, get acquainted with them. And after you've done that, acquaint the world with yourself. You will find that life is nice.
I'm taking notes for myself. I'm like, yes, I'm going to do that. So I know for sure that this is going to benefit someone somewhere.
I hope so.
So now I want you to talk about your ultimate, the competition that you're running, you're in. You just made top 5 of ultimate motivational speaker. How's that going?
That's actually great. It's actually, and I don't know. I see this very humbly. I don't think a lot of myself. Like, I'm aware of the great things that probably happened, and I was involved, or I was given the grace to be able to push them. But every time I would get through to the next level, I'm blown away. Honestly, like, what? This person actually listens to what I'm saying and they think what I'm saying is good. So it's a very fulfilling experience to have someone listen to you, to have people listen to you and actually love what you're doing, and to get credit for putting in the work, because I think I put in a lot of work into what I do, and I carefully select my words and all of that. So it's a very beautiful experience, and I hope I win.
I will be praying for you that you win this. I did tell you behind the scenes that I actually tried out for the same competition, but I didn't make it past the audition.
Next season.
It was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done. It really wasn't. But I'm very glad that someone like you, who does more than just shine and speak and motivate for the benefit of self, has been able to advance that far into that competition.
Thank you so much.
So, Thabiso, in the next 5 years, where do you still see yourself? Your work. What are your aspirations?
I'm actually planning with a 10 years mind and view. But I'll try to summarize what I want to do in the next decade, in 5 years. I've dedicated the next few years of my life towards academia. I want to get a PhD. I want to be able to come back and teach within the University of Botswana before I go into diaspora, because eventually I want to go outside and then see the world as much as I can. So I've dedicated the next 10 years of my life, the next 5 years of my life towards, just upkeeping myself academically. I've also dedicated towards building as many structures and towards empowering as many organizations who are working with society as much as I can, so that I could make the burden of serving humanity much easier for them through inventing as much talks and dealing in knowledge production as much as I can, so that I can be able to help others, provide them with a reference, provide them with necessary examples. And I just want to build as many initiatives to show the young person that it's possible and you could live your dreams, and you don't have to to apologize for being you and for dreaming the way that you dream. So, that's me.
That's amazing. We wish you all the very, very best in everything that you are set out to do. We've experienced you on the set, and we know that definitely this it comes from a deep place. Thank you so very, very much. We cannot thank you enough for joining us. We know how busy you are. You've got interviews back to back. People want you there. There's a competition that you're in. There's people that you're talking to. So we don't take this time for granted. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Well, that is it for this segment of Nation Builders BW. That was Thabiso Cavin Bogopa. Wow, what a powerhouse. So please do follow us on Facebook. Our handle is Nation Builders BW. Please also remember that we give you an opportunity to recommend a nation builder who is touching and transforming lives in their own spheres of influence, whether corporate, whether sporting, politics, wherever it can be. So please don't hesitate to give us a shout on 71484-300 or just simply inbox us on the Facebook page. Until we meet again, cheers.